weather for a little cruise here. We will be going about 2.5 miles. Come back here behind us. Now, of course, as we get started here, I do have a couple of safety things here now real quick. Very simple and very easy stuff. Just stuff like no standing, no smoking or vaping, and of course, please keep your hands, your feet, and your objects inside the boat. Now there are, of course, life jackets in the back. They are brand new and never been used. Now I don't think we'll need them today. In fact, if you guys find yourself here in the water, just go ahead and stand up and walk right out. The river here, pretty shallow, about 2 or 3 feet, so not going to worry about that. Now as you guys may know, the tour does start off here in the shop at Riverside. Big mall we have here, built back in 1980. Now we are going to go here. This is music here on the way out. Very special, very important. This statue here on the right side coming up is the very man who this city is named after. Now that statue right there, hey, that guy, that is the man we named the city after. That is Saint Anthony de Padua, or San Antonio. Now Saint Anthony, he was born in Portugal in the 12th century, and he is the patron saint of small children and lost items. Pretty cool building. Big old flag up. The nights coming from here is Fair Park. There is a big Oktoberfest celebration happening here this weekend. Oktoberfest. Now, coming up next here on the right side, just above these trees, got a big, tall, beautiful church. Really big, really pointy. This right here is known as St. Joseph. St. Joseph's here. It was the very first church to be built was the Master of the Elm. Built here back in 1850. That big old church, of course, built here by some early German settlers. They came all the way out here in the 1840s, 1850s. They had no place to worship in their own language. Of course, German influence here downtown is still really big here to this day. Lots of old historic buildings, lots of shops, couple restaurants. Busy Southwest here this weekend. We got big old booths here, lots of vendors. They got jewelry, artwork, candles, lotion, lots of artwork. They'll be here all weekend here in the world. Now we're going to make a left turn here. We are entering a natural area of the river. Right behind us, all man-made. The river here, of course, is a real river. It starts about 4 miles north. It flows all the way down south into the Gulf of Mexico. Total length of this river, about 220 miles long. Now, coming up to us here on our right side, we have another location. Same boats, same floors. On our left side right here though, we have the Hilton Palacio Berrin. This big hotel here on the left is very unique. In fact, it's actually in the Guinness Book World Records. In there, of course, for being the biggest hotel to be constructed the quickest. Now the way they were actually able to do that was first, they actually built the first 4 floors on site. And if you guys look up, see right where they stopped at, right before the rooms start. Now all the rooms above it, all 500, they were all built separately on an assembly line. Now they actually came off the assembly line, fully furnished, ready to go. They even had the beds made, the towels and racks, the Bibles in the drawers, all the good stuff already ready. When they were done, they were brought here to town and stacked up one by one all the way up, just like Lego bricks. We call it the Lego Hotel, just for that reason. The Lego Hotel. Coming up ahead of us here, a little cool area, known as the Arnes and Ruben Theater. It's a big outdoor theater, stage on the right side, really popular. Lots of plays, concerts, good stuff for your own ears. If you guys have ever seen that movie, Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock, they filmed the scene here. That, of course, was a swimsuit competition. You guys are actually pretty lucky today. They have these waterfalls here on your right side. Turn them on. They hardly ever turn them on. Of course, when they do, they're very nice, very lovely. Now, also coming up here on your right, really, really cool bronze sculpture. Looks like we also have a wedding going on here. Very cool. The big building here on the right side, that is called the Briscoe. Really big Western art museum. Lots of cool Western artifacts, artwork, swords, saddles, spurs, all kinds of good stuff there. Now coming up ahead of us here, we have Prusy Streets. As it comes to this bridge here though, please watch your head. This bridge here is really, really low. I'm actually a pretty decent driver. In fact, I have actually not hit a single head here since last Sunday. My record, 8 days. Now to the right of us here we have Marriage Alley. You see why we call it that.
Sigurado meron sila dito.
Now looking up to the left of us here, big cool building, the one we saw earlier, known as the Tower Life. Now the building here was built back in 1929. It was of course designed by 2 brothers. These brothers here though, they were very superstitious. They added a couple cool things here to the building. Now the first thing they actually added is all the way up there at the top. Looking up at the corners, you'll see little things sticking out. They're very pointy. Those pointy things are actually gargoyles. They serve as rain spots. When it rains, the water comes out their mouth. Now the next cool thing they added, you can see right here coming up, they call grotesque or ugly faces. And you can see it pretty well. There's a man and a woman together as a pair. They will switch faces throughout the whole thing.
Wow.
Now remember how I said they were superstitious? well, they put them on the wall to scare off bad business and evil spirits. Coming up ahead here one more time, watch your heads. Lots of pigeons here, brothers. Don't look up. Don't make any sudden movements. Sure, bro, my brother. Now, coming up ahead of us here, big cool red building, nice green rooftop. That big building is known as the Bear County Courthouse. It's a pretty big place, pretty old as well. In fact, it was built here back in 1896. That is the oldest operating courthouse in the state of Texas. So if you're feeling a little sleepy, I'm gonna wake you up here real quick. Got a honk on one here because we are entering into the deepest part of the river. Once you turn right here, the river drops down to about 15 feet below us. Nobody jump, please don't jump. We have never used a life jacket. I don't plan to use them today. This little channel here is actually man-made. It's called the flood channel. It's a bad, yeah, that one is. You're gonna throw in rocks in there. Don't do that. Yeah. Nice, but I don't even know what this building is. It's called the Red Brick Building. Built here in 1924. I don't know that. Now looking up to the left right here, this really cool fence. This is part of the tour though. This is called the Love Box. Many people here at the game day will come by this fence to the lock. They will write the names in it, they'll put it on the fence, and then throw away the keys in the river. They say in doing so, it will bring you guys good luck and a long-lasting relationship. Now that does actually scare some people. You'll see some combinations of locks up there, just in case I guess. No flimsy. Now just next blocks here on our left, we have Main Plaza, the very center of the city. Now back here, hidden behind all these trees, a really big old church. It's kind of hard to see, but you'll see it back there. You might see the corner of it. It might be lit up in yellow lights. If you do see it, that is called the San Fernando Cathedral. Built all the way back in 1731. That is quite old. In fact, that is actually the second oldest Roman Catholic church in the United States today. Now on that note, coming up ahead of us here, the biggest, tallest, and oldest tree along the Riverwalk. This big one here, about 9 stories tall, it's a Cypress tree. They say it's around 375 years old. Pretty big. Now coming up here right above us, this little device we have is known as a floodgate. It is the third out of 6 floodgates out here. The one right here above us actually comes up and down like a garage door. And when it comes down, it will seal the river up. It will protect the shops, the hotels, all the good stuff ahead of us from high water. Now it never floods along the river anymore. In fact, the last and worst big flood was back in 1921. Now some of these effects actually still remain. One is coming up here on your right side. Now to your right side here, all lit up, you'll see a tree there, a big tree. Now looking closer at it, you will see that tree there growing out of the wall. Of course, according to local legend, that tree was growing on the other side. The water came, swept it up, landed in a crack right there. Been growing out of it ever since. Also on the right side here, we have the Esquire Tavern, the oldest bar on the river. The first one to open up after Prohibition. It's also home to the longest running bar in the state of Texas. Before it actually opened up as a bar, it was a barbershop. It was the only barbershop you can go to get a haircut and then leave with the same right here. It opened up at 12:01 a.m. the day Prohibition was repealed, start and ready to go. Another location here coming up on the right, as y'all can celebrate all these cool people out front. This one here is known as the Aztec. Now the big beauty here on the right opened up in the roaring 20s, 1926. It actually first opened up here as a silent black and white movie theater. The Aztec here is still open, although no longer showing movies. You still catch plays, concerts, and other good stuff here all year long. Now, someone always asks me, but the bridge here in front of us is pretty famous. We call it Selena's Bridge, just like in the movie. Oh, here you go, yeah? Awesome. Big hotel here on the left. Sorry. Yes. No. It's a hotel, the Mahar Hotel. There's no really no apartments here downtown along the river.
Hold on.
If you guys find yourself like that here today, one of my favorite places for a sweet tooth is on the right side, Justice Ice Cream. Really good stuff. Really good ice cream there. You got churros there. Alright, so get your cameras out real quick. Coming up next is a really cool off-road illusion. As you come off of the bridge here, look up to your left, all the way up, and you folks will see what looks like a freestanding wall. For a wall without any sides. Some say it looks kind of scary. I personally think it looks pretty cool. But if you look up there all the way up, you'll see just what I'm talking about. All the way up. Pretty cool, right? It's actually not just a wall, of course. It's actually a hospital. That's the next. A hospital here, no, back in 1930. The very first hospital in the U.S. to offer full air conditioning. Right, and here we have a little dinner cruise. They will be here at Paisano. It's a little Italian place. Now, any restaurant along the river can do that. You just have to stop and talk to the manager, make a reservation. They'll set it up for you. Lots of live music here along the river this weekend. Got some bands, country, some jazz out here, mariachis of course. Up ahead of us in the corner though, is a big jazz band. They'll be here all night. I think they're taking a break right now, but they'll be here less than that. Really good. Casino Club building, 1927. Of course, despite its cool name, the Casino Club never was a casino. It was used as a social club, and in the 30s, used as a speakeasy. Bottom level here, Saltgrass. The very top 2 floors are apartments though. And as y'all can see here, this is the busiest section of the river. Lots of shops, lots of restaurants all around us. Mariachis, of course. Like I'm watching novella every time it comes out. Here coming up, another big popular restaurant, really busy on weekends. This one right here is known as Casa Rio. Very iconic, very famous, very historic. In fact, Casa Rio was the very first restaurant to open up on the Riverwalk. They actually opened up here in 1946. They were even the very first people to do dinner cruises out here. Just like we have here. To pick all that stuff up. Now, as one can imagine, they find a bunch of weird stuff out here. In the past couple years, they've actually found full TVs out here. They will find chairs every year, furniture, dressers, even car parts. Now, there is actually one thing they find the most of here every single year. It might surprise you, and will never does. You try them. What?
Cell phones?
A mermaid? No, not quite. Not since like the 80s, I think. Cell phones, no. Cell phones actually number 3. Number 2 is sunglasses. Number 1, however, is silverware. Yeah, spoons and forks and knives. All the restaurants behind us. It doesn't sound like much, but actually last year they found 900 pounds of silverware. Quite a bit. No, just people like eating on the sidewalks, so dropping in. Dinner cruises, yeah. All the restaurants along the river, you know. Of course, they don't reuse it, they recycle it all. Next thing I have for you guys here, though, is on the right up in the sky up there. It's a big tall tower, and you can't miss it. It is that cool thing right there. That is called the Tower of the Americas. Built here back in 1968 as part of the World's Fair. It's actually the tallest building here in San Antonio, and it stands at 750 feet tall.
Wow.
Now up there at the very top, really big observation deck. You're able to walk around the whole thing and see all the good sights. Just below that, there's actually a restaurant called Chart House. The restaurant's up actually in the river. Next room, two ways to get up there, of course. There's a quick 4-minute elevator ride all the way to the top. All the way to the top. Also, a staircase you can take. Although I wouldn't recommend it. If you do take it, you're looking at 956 steps all the way up. Making right here, the river gets kind of windy. The area up ahead of us, known as the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. Now it was named here after Mr. Henry Gonzalez. He was the first Hispanic American to be elected to the House of Representatives. He got elected to Congress in 1960. The area here, of course, actually just went through a lot of upgrades and lots of construction. It actually doubled in size. Today, this is actually the biggest convention center in the United States. It's a huge area. Lots of cool buildings, lots of event space, and some really cool artwork. But coming up here on your left in just a second, you'll see something really big and really cool. Now, if you guys look up on your left right here above the Lala Cockle Theater, you'll see that big artwork. That big one there on your left stretches 130 feet long. Look at it carefully, and you'll notice that thing is actually not a painting. It's a huge mosaic piece. That big thing is actually made here with about 400,000 1-inch square tiles.
Nice.
Now all those tiles up there, except the deepest shades of blue, are actually all natural, not painted, and they only come from the country of Mexico.
Yes.
Pretty cool stuff. It was actually all done by just one guy.
What?
His name was Warner Gorman. He started here back in 1966. He finished up in 1968, 2 years later. It is a course called the Confluence of Civilization. It's supposed to represent the two halves of the world coming together. Left side, of course, that is the southern half. The right side, that is the northern half. They meet in the middle. Now, in the middle up there, you'll see a little tiny baby, and they call him the child of the future.
Now, the mural right above her name, that is called the Confluence of Civilization.
Adam Eve.
The Confluence of Civilization was a gift from Mexico during the ceremony. It is not a painting. It is a 400,000